Hey Sawyer, just want to thank you for coming in today. You want to tell me a little bit about what you want to talk about today?
I don't know. I'm just kind of in a little situation where I just don't know what to do with work. I've been there for a long time, been there coming up on 5 years, and just feel stuck where I'm at. I just don't really know what to do.
Yeah, it sounds like this has been a real dilemma for you. It's been on your mind for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I do at my work, but there's just this feeling of stuck, like I'm stagnant. There's really no room for growth. My pay isn't the greatest, but I just don't know what to do.
I understand if you had picked another job, what would you be looking at? What would that job look like compared to the one you're at now?
I I just really for a job I really want to have this option for growth within the position, being able to, like, I don't know if after I reach a certain point of years, if like the pay goes up or responsibility goes up, a chance to kind of do more, have more responsibility. It's I work in healthcare, so it's like I like to help people and want a role like that, but
Right.
I also don't want to feel stagnant in the role, like I'm just getting only 2% increase in pay each year.
Yeah, well, it sounds to me like being motivated for growth and being compensated for what you're good at is a big motivating factor for you.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like being compensated for what I'm good at,
Yeah,
because I feel like my role right now, they don't. There's no even growth within the role itself. It's like the only way to grow is to get a position, like a position above it, where you're no longer doing what you're good at. You're now managing people that are doing it, and that's I don't know if that's a good system.
yeah. It sounds like that you've been kind of stagnant where you are for where you're at right now. Have you talked to the people at your place now and see if there's any room for growth for you or any room for increases in pay or anything like that? Have you checked into any of that yet?
I have I've had many discussions. I think every month when I do my check in with my manager, we
Yeah.
talk about things that aren't going well, and I talk about the fact that the pay grade is so low. We can't get people, we can't keep people, and uh, the role itself. The only way I can grow right now is if I get my manager's position, and she has that.
Mhm.
So I propose the idea of like tier systems for uh, like what I do. Tier system as in, like, if I'm there for certain years, we get that. If I get another
Right.
degree, I'd get something like that. But they really haven't done much with that.
Right. Well, it sounds like you've made them offers back, made them counter offers, and they're just not willing to come to the table with it. So,
Mhm.
um, at this point, do you feel like moving on would be your best option?
I don't know, because I do like where I work. I like the work I get to do, and I'm a little afraid of in not having that, like, supportive environment, because it is. I mean, I do love my coworkers, so I feel supported as a person, and like emotionally in that sense. But I don't know if I'll be able to find that elsewhere.
Right. Well, if you had to use a scale of 1 to 10, with one being very, very happy with my job and zero being I'm just completely miserable with this job, where do you think you'd fall on that scale?
I think around 6, because I mean, I am able to sustain, like, at least, living off of what I'm making in some sense, and I do enjoy what I'm doing, but I want growth.
Yeah. Well, you're not at a zero, and so you're your score is pretty high, but it's not where you want it to be. You would, I'm assuming of course, you'd want it to be a 10, but you're not there. So it's I can see the ambivalence in that you love your coworkers, you love your job, but you're just not being compensated for what you feel like you're worth. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I don't feel like my expertise is really being um, paid for. And I know they come back with this idea of, well, you get benefits. And for me, it's I get angry about that because every place you go has benefits. Most places need to offer benefits. Otherwise,
True. Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've offered them options. You've given them options. They've come back and gave you counter options. So I guess you would have to weigh those pros and cons and see where you stood there. Have you wrote it down on paper? Have you come up with a pro and cons list? And if you have, what did that list look like? Or something similar?
I guess I haven't written it down before, but I think just thinking about it, some of the pros of staying where I'm at is it shows loyalty. I mean, if that really means much to the company. Loyalty, I mean, the pros of getting to be with people that I've been working with for a while, people I'm comfortable with. I'm good at my job, so there's that. I guess I'm comfortable with what I do and know I do it well. I guess that's some of the pros. Some of the cons is that I just don't. There's no way to grow, and after 5 years of working in this healthcare field, I was hoping to at least see myself grow within the hospital or grow within in the roles I take on, responsibilities I get to take on, just being able to be a part of more decisions that affect patient care, but also to be making more than I am, because I feel like where I'm at right now is where I should have started at when I first got to the hospital, and it's been like fighting tooth and nail just to get to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you've evaluated your worth. You've been there long enough that you know what you deserve to be making. You didn't know what you deserve to be compensated at. So, at this point, I think it just comes down to a loyalty factor. I don't know if you would agree with that or not, but it's like loyalty over pay. I can understand, where you're coming from there. A company that you've been there 5 years, I think you said. So yeah, you feel a sense of obligation, but are they obligated to you? I'm sure. I would hope that you had weighed those options too. How obligated is this company to you? What do you mean to them? Have you thought through that? I'm sure you thought through that, right?
Yeah, I guess I have in some sense of, I've been so loyal and done everything that I've been told to do. Whenever changes happen, which that happens a lot in healthcare, I kind of roll with the punches and go with it and try to adapt and make sure patient care doesn't get hindered in that sense. But like when I ask for some change to support me better, that isn't met with the same
Right.
eagerness as I do, and so I feel it's very lopsided in who's invested in who.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like that you've weighed your worth. you've weighed the pros and cons of loyalty versus pay. Um, you've been there for 5 years. They're not willing to compensate you. It sounds to me like you have already played out this entire scenario, and now it's just a matter of you taking that next step. Would you say that that's where you're at now, is just deciding